Good morning. It is Friday, the 1st of November. Welcome back to Take 5. Today we're going to look at Judges 15 and 16, the second half of Samson's life. We saw that Samson had a great start in life, but started to make some really awful decisions. And now we see in chapters 15 and 16 that it goes from bad to worse. So in chapter 15, we see that Samson is not willing to be snubbed, not willing to be put out, belittled, disgraced by his wife's father, who has given his wife to another man and is now offering the younger sister. All very strange and not very, we don't get that, do we, in today's world. But basically, Samson retaliates. It starts off with one thing, he then does something worse. So it goes back and forth. Samson's rage at discovering that his wife has been given to another man is followed by Samson striking out against the Philistines and burning all their crops. Then the Philistines retaliate by killing Samson's wife and her family. And then he retaliates by slaying 1,000 Philistines and then another 1,000, I think, with a jaw of a donkey. It just escalates. It gets bigger and bigger. I wonder if that's ever happened. Hopefully not to this extent. I'm sure not to this extent. But it is a real picture of how retaliation never solves anything. It just gets bigger and bigger. And in fact, when Jesus spoke out and said, "You've heard it said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth," that was actually talking about how God's way is not to retaliate, not to kind of say, "You took my eye, so I'm going to take something. I'm going to take 2 eyes from you," because of course that gets worse and worse and worse. But then Jesus says, instead of that, actually, we should do good to our enemies and not harm them, that we should forgive when we have been wronged. I wonder if you have been insulted. Samson was absolutely insulted by them giving his wife to someone else. And in fact, they believed that he really hated her. So Samson had a part to play in what happened, but he was insulted. He was betrayed, lied to. And he felt that he had been belittled, mocked, snubbed, and possibly even misunderstood. And we see his anger and rage. We see him completely losing it. But I wonder whether that, for some people, that's what heartbreak looks like. That actually, when their hearts are broken, when they are hurting the most, they go on the attack. Or maybe we do. If someone insults us, do we then shift into shame management mode? Do we start to belittle someone else, blame them, criticize them, gossip about them, try and take our revenge and to retaliate? Or do we leave room for God's wrath? It says in Romans 12, verse 19 to 20, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it's written, 'It's mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. And in doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head." Which I don't think we're supposed to be full of glee that we've hurt someone. I think what that is supposed to mean is that it will make him feel ashamed. Our enemy will feel ashamed if we are really kind. And so instead of brooding on how we've been insulted and put aside, let's take a moment to think about how we could bless those who have hurt us the most. It is a hard thing, and it starts with forgiveness. It starts with obedience. But you can do this. God has put his strength within you, and he's put his command in his word. So let's obey God and do good to those who insult us. Bless you. Have a great weekend. And I look forward to next week's Take 5. On a totally different book. So wait for that. Bless you. Bye-bye.